Alrighty. Hey, what's up, everyone? We will go over how to use Llama 4. It was just launched by Meta AI yesterday, and I'm going to cover why Llama is so revolutionary. Is it good? Is it not good? And then we're going to test it out. I'll show you where you can get access to it, and then we'll create some websites, we'll create some blog posts with it, create some images, test out its multimodal functionality. And the most exciting thing that I want to test out is how does it work when we import millions of tokens, literally so many tokens with its new context window, and how it will handle those. So bear with me, this is my first live stream, and I want to see how it goes and if people can watch this live. So let me just double check that I am live here. And it looks like we are live. So perfect. If people are in the chat, just let me know if the audio is good or not. But other than that, let's go straight into it. So let's first cover what Llama 4 is. So Llama just released three different multimodal intelligence models. The first one is the Llama 4 Behemoth. The second one is Llama 4 Maverick. And then the third one is Llama 4 Scout. So these two are already available, and the Behemoth is still in testing, and it will be launched coming soon. Llama 4 Scout is the smaller model, and it's kind of common these days for companies like OpenAI or Anthropic to launch two types of models. One that is a little bit smaller, that runs on lesser hardware, that is faster. And then the other one is just the top of the notch, the best reasoning model. And usually there's one in between. So that's, for example, how Claude Sonnet was released as the in-between pack, the trade-off between speed and huge context between speed and having the most training done on it. But it ended up being the most popular. So I assume also in this case, Maverick will be the most popular one for people to use because it's the best trade-off of speed and cost. Having said that, the context length of the Scout is the largest one to date. So this is, I'm super excited to try this out. It has a 10 million context length, which is incredible. Like the largest one to date so far, I believe, is Gemini with a 2 million token context window. But 10 million is just out of this world and much larger than what most of us use it for anyways. However, I have some context where I have lots of files that I want to use as custom training data, and we'll test that out in just a second on how that works with that. It has 109 billion parameters and 17 billion active parameters and 16 experts. So the Maverick model, how it's different is it has less context length, but I believe it's smarter. It has 400 billion total parameters, so 4 times as much as the Scout. And then it has 17 billion active parameters and 128 different experts instead of the 16. And then if we go back to the Behemoth, that is not publicly available yet. This one has 288 billion active parameters and 2 trillion total parameters. So this is just insane what this can do. Let's move on with this and go to the takeaways here. Check out this blog post that was posted yesterday and on ai.meta.com. And it covers the key takeaways here. It goes into how this was built with the pre-training and the post-training of the new models. And really the key takeaway that I would, well, actually, let's try it out right now and see what the key takeaway is. Your prompt is too long. Please try again for a shorter prompt. Okay, so this already did not work. Let's try it somewhere else. Let's try it on Open Router. Let's use the free model. All right, so this is using Llama 4 right now, right here. And this is, you can use it for free on OpenRouter. Or you can go to meta.ai and use Llama 4. If you create a new chat here, we click on, what model are you? I'm built on Llama 4. And then, yeah, so this is already using the newest model. And this is free. Just sign in with your Instagram or your Facebook account. But since we saw that this prompt was too long, which is weird because it has a massive token input context window, that's why I'm using OpenRouter here. So the key takeaway of this article is that Meta has released the new generation of large language models. It goes over these specific parameters. And then the article highlights Meta's commitment to open sourcing AI and making these models available to developers and researchers, as well as efforts to addressing bias and safety concerns. So that is actually one of the biggest things about the Llama models, is that you can download these to your local machine or to your local server and self-host these. So if you go to Llama for Hugging Face, you see that you can download the full models right here on Hugging Face. And here's the collection. So you can download these and you see exactly how large these are to download and then to be used. But yeah, that is really the key difference. What Llama and Meta is doing is they are doing all of this training of these AI models, but they're not really monetizing them directly. They're probably using them internally, and they're using them in Instagram, in WhatsApp, and in different other places. But the most important thing is that they see people competing in this field, and they don't want to be left behind, and they don't want to rely on Google, OpenAI, or a Chinese competitor to use their OpenAI models to be up to date. So they train their own models. But they realize that it's really a race to the bottom almost, or it's in the end, it's a commodity. Who has the best model doesn't really matter so much as long as your model is good enough. And that is why they're open sourcing this, because they realize that if they are open sourcing this, they encourage more people to use the platform, generate data with the Llama models, and it kind of makes it harder for OpenAI and for other competitors to compete, because more and more people will use these free models, and it makes it less profitable for the OpenAIs and the Claudes. Coming back here, compete because more and more people will use these free models. One second here. All right. Coming back to this this model, let's actually go through this here. What I wanted to cover is all right, let me cover what makes Llama 4 special. First of all, there's a mixture of experts it's like a mixture of experts, also called MOE architecture. And this really means that only a fraction of the total parameters are actively are activated for any given token. This makes them so much more compute efficient for both training and for inference, and it delivers much higher quality models compared to dense architectures. So let's see, that's what I got from this here. Really why it is, the mixture of experts is like this really good architecture. If we go back to this article right here. And that is really what makes this so powerful. And that's why we see this here, the 16 experts for Scout, 128 for Maverick, and then the 16 experts here. The second important thing is that it's natively multimodal, which means that Llama 4, all parameters natively understand both text and images. This is huge. This is not new in terms of all the other competitors. OpenAI has this native image multimodality, but now with Llama 4, you can upload images or text or anything, and it treats it in a similar way. You don't need to chain models together with an LLM that is focused on text and an LLM that's focused on vision models. The third important thing here is that it has the massive context window of 10 million tokens. This makes it one of the largest or the first open source models to support a window of that size. And that is just berserk. I'm going to try it out in a second. Multilingual support. So similar to other AI models, the Llama 4 model supports 12 languages. And as we can see here, it doesn't say which languages, but I assume it's the most commonly spoken ones. Well, let's ask it and see if it can tell us. So it's English, Arabic, French, German, Hindi, Indonesian, Italian, Portuguese, Spanish, Tagalog, and Thai and Vietnamese. Wow, okay, cool. That's a good variety. The fifth thing that I wanted to mention is that it has improved response and contentious topics. So Meta says it tuned all Llama 4 models to refuse to answer contentious questions less often. So according to Meta, Llama 4 responded to debated political and social topics that the previous Llama models couldn't. So this is the whole political aspect of where Meta and Mark Zuckerberg is trying to be less political here and enforcing less censorship on the AI or on his own company moderators. And we will see how that turns out and if that becomes an issue. And if it's more like Grok, for example, that has really no filters, or if it's more closer to Gemini 2.5 or ChatGPT 4.0 that has more filters associated with it. And there's not enough data out there, and I haven't tried it out enough, frankly, to give you that answer on my own independently. And then the sixth thing that is super important about this is the performance versus the size and efficiency. So despite its large total parameter count, the architecture that it uses, the mixture of experts architecture, is going back here. So the mixture of expert architecture makes it super intelligent for the cost and electricity that it uses. So it can intelligently use only a fraction of parameters during active inference, and it delivers faster responses while maintaining super high quality. And that is just like the new breakthrough that makes, this is probably the direction where most of these large language models are going, is to use this kind of architecture just because it is more efficient in terms of compute cost, training cost, speed, and overall development cycles. You can have more development cycles because the speed and the cost is lower. Alrighty. So now that we understand this architecture a little bit better, let's do some demonstrations. So the easiest way to test this is by going to meta.ai, and it has a chatbot right here. You can then test it out and ask it certain things. So let's go into new conversation, and it gives you some prompts here. Help me choose a pet, imagine an image, and it helps me choose a tire. Let's start with first asking it about itself. And what are the names again? Maverick or Scout? Okay, interesting. Okay, so now the context limit here is 32,000 tokens. So that is actually interesting because that means that it's not utilizing the full capability of Llama 4. Let's go back and go to Open Router for Maverick and see what... Let's see if that knows what it is. It says for this, it varies by version. Okay, it also doesn't give me the whole context window. Let's see if... not Maverick, it is Llama 4 Scout. Interesting. Okay, so it also doesn't use the entire context window. I'm not really sure why that is. Peculiar. Oh yeah, before we actually before we go and explore the different use cases where we make a website and where we create a blog post and create some images, maybe, let's do one more thing, and that is I want to see where this is on the leaderboard. So let's look at the LLM Arena leaderboard. And we can see that right, Hugging Face. This is archived. Okay, we don't want that. And we want to see the leaderboard here. So currently Gemini is at the top at 1,439 points, and then Llama 4 is right behind that at 1,470, and that is the Maverick experimental model. Where's the other Llama 4? The Scout. Okay, so Scout is not even on this, which is very interesting. I thought it would be higher up, but I guess it is much smaller. So maybe it does not it does not quite fit on here. So this is language overall. If we click on pricing analysis, though, I think this is where Llama is gonna just blow it out of the water. So if we look at, this is Llama 3.1, but we're looking for Llama 3. Where is Llama? Let's go in meta. So Llama 3, so Llama 4 is not on this yet. Maybe that's because it is considered to be free. So maybe that's why this is the best one overall. Or maybe it just hasn't had enough time to take this into consideration. So then let's look on a vision. Let's see if Llama 4 is on this. Okay, Llama 4 is not even on this. Text to image. Llama 4 is also not on this. So, okay, so maybe we don't have enough data on that yet. That's unfortunate. Let's look into maybe the benchmarks. So, Llama 4 benchmarks. And this is not certified. This is a local, someone doing this on his own, but it gives us an understanding of where we are. So we're comparing Gemini as well as Mistral, Gemma. So these are all the different these are different models here. And the Scout model is doing pretty well here. We can see that it's scoring consistently high for all of these. And then the Behemoth is even higher. Wow, this is actually really, really good. So it is pretty much the top of the benchmark here. And that's the Behemoth. Okay, that's the Behemoth and Maverick. Let's go here. We can see that the price per 1 million input token is comparable with Gemini Flash, but it is, wow, this is 5% probably. What is it? Yeah, 5% of GPT-4o. I'm expecting a lot of people switching over to this because this is much cheaper, and this will really change the way that people use tokens, because now if it's so cheap to have this input, then it will just make it so much easier to use them, and you don't have to worry about cost anymore. On the scores here, they are consistently better. For coding, like overall consistently, this is much better. And then looking at the Behemoth, there's not a huge difference between these two, but we can see that the math here, for example, is really good. The MMLU and the GPQA, it just wins on all parameters. Okay, let's see if we can find a more official benchmark. Yeah, right here. Okay, so these are the official benchmarks, and it mainly compares Maverick, and I assume that this is exactly how this will be compared is because Maverick is likely going to be the model that competes with Gemini as well as with Anthropic 3.7 Sonnet. So we see here that it wins on all of these tests. I'm sure it doesn't show all of the tests because it doesn't list all of the comparisons, but it likes to be nitpicky and shows the ones where it is the best. And in this case, it is the best in a lot of these. And it does really well in the needle and the haystack methods. As you can see here, Llama for Scout just has 0 error rate pretty much. And then here it has 2 issues right here, and then here 2 issues at 570,000 token input. So overall, the needle and the haystack is just incredible. This is now the Llama Scout comparison and instruction tune benchmarks. It's also performing really well. Keep in mind, it doesn't compare it here against 4.0 reasoning or against any of the reasoning models. So that is using selective reasoning in this case in order to compare this. But overall, these values are really good for having this type of model. And then here's Behemoth. Here we see the benchmarks, and that is, again, like highest out of all of these. All right, let's create some fun stuff with this. Let's go over here. Let's go to the, I want to use the Maverick free. Okay, and here it tells me the context for this particular free version here is 250,000. Okay. Let's create, please create a HTML all in one file. Let's see if I can do that. In the meantime, let's open a new tab. Okay, that did not work. All right, and starting to code. The speed is not the fastest, not the slowest, but we'll see how the reasoning is later on. Let's try writing a blog post. Let's make it really long, 5,000 word in-depth blog post about how AI automation can help entrepreneurs be more productive. Please research relevant topics first, and SEO, analyze SEO landscape. Then write a human sounding structured blog post. All right, and it's not even, okay, so I'm used to seeing all of the reasoning in the past, but right now it looks like it's going straight into it. It has, that seems to be the title, and then this is the intro. Here it goes into where we are. It even cites sources, so I'm curious to see how these sources are cited. And then the rise of AI automation is right there. All right, interesting. Okay, let's see how long this is. This is not my 5,000 that I was asking for. Where is it? My computer can't really handle this at the moment. Maybe I did. Nope, this is, I pasted the wrong stuff. Okay. Okay, copy. All right, I gotta use, my cache is all used up and my computer cannot handle this. Let's use a different word counter just because that one did not work. All right, so this is 1,000 words. So let's see if it can make it longer. Please. Interesting. Okay, so I like that it doesn't really like argue with you. It doesn't tell you, okay, let me write it again. It goes straight into returning exactly what I ask it for. And I'm not sure if that's a system prompt in order to do this, or if the whole multimodal or the MOE architecture really lets it do that. But I kind of appreciate that. And it makes it easier to have AI integrations with this if you don't need to always include that in the system prompt, that it should go straight into providing the valuable information that I was looking for. But yeah, here we see it is longer. It has the conclusion here already, and then it gives me references, recommended resources by following the insights, additional tips and best practices, future of automation. Interesting. So it has conclusion and final thoughts. I'm not too blown away right now by this, but again, this was just a really quick test in order to see if it could write a really long blog post about this topic. Let's go back to our coding simulation, and here we have it. The output is not as long as I had expected to be. I'm really used to Sonnet 3.7 Sonnet giving me really long context windows, especially on the output side. So I was hoping for this Llama model to do the same, but let's see how the quality of this is. And let's see if this was able to do this. Okay, we do have a tower defense game. I don't really see how this game is played out. Okay, this is not working. So yeah, overall, this unfortunately is not quite where it should be. Maybe let's try it natively on the meta.ai, even though it has only a 32,000 token window. Let's give it the same prompt that we just gave this open router and see if it can give us a better answer. Let's start a new conversation. It's starting to code right away, so it is super fast on that. Let's see what happens on the AI Studio side here. So we do have like custom generators here. I'm not sure if they already use the new AI model. Let's get back to that in a second after we test this one out here. Okay, this seems a little bit more comprehensive, but again, it's not as long as I would like it to be. It's only 139. Okay, this is definitely not good. I've had way better implementations with both the Gemini 3.5 Pro as well as with Claude 3.7 Sonnet. So overall, I would not rave about the capabilities of this. However, let's see how the images look. We haven't tried that out yet. So let's go here and imagine a chef plating a meal. Let's see how that looks and how fast it is, because the new ChatGPT 4o images are incredible, especially with the text input. However, they do take forever to load. And in this case, this was much faster, but it does look much more unnatural. I wanted to look photo. Oh, we can animate this as well. Okay, so we see the animation is really cool. That is actually really compute intensive. So I'm impressed that it was able to do that quickly. But unfortunately, it does not look photorealistic enough. And we all know that ChatGPT does that super well. If we compare that now, let me get rid of this and do the same stuff here. It is just way better. Yeah, this looks like animated almost, like The Sims or like an animated film. It does not look like this is a real human, and this has to do with like the soft skin and like the resolution isn't quite there. Overall, it looks great, and I like the depth of field. The logic makes sense in terms of the physics here, but just the tiny little thing here doesn't make sense. The way he's holding this knife and cutting this doesn't really make a lot of sense. And then the text on his shirt is also not quite there. So I don't think we've made huge leaps with the image generation, unfortunately. But consider that this is all free to use and this is open source. This is still pretty impressive. So let's go back to ChatGPT and see it's still loading. Yeah, that's the only drawback with the ChatGPT image generation is it just takes forever. And here, this just looks much more realistic. These hands look, I wouldn't be able to tell if this is a real image or not. Maybe if I looked at it long enough, but yeah. All right, let's conclude this. Overall, what did we learn here? We learned that the new Llama 4 just launched. It is incredible, and it's only was just released. So I'm really looking forward to trying out the different models and different places where we can check out their immense token context length of 1 million and 10 million, and then seeing how this fits into my current workflow. It might replace some of the automations where I'm currently using paid, like GPT-4o or Claude 3.7 Sonnet methodologies, but if this is really this much cheaper and just as good, I'm probably gonna switch, and I feel like most people will do the same. If you're watching this after I released this video, let me know in the comments if this was useful. Do you want to see me create more of these, or was this just me talking to myself for 30 minutes? I guess we'll find out soon. And if you don't comment anything, then I don't know if this is helpful or not. So please let me know if you like it or if you don't like it. And if you stuck around until this point, kudos, because it has been 32 minutes of me talking about this really niche topic. And in that case, subscribe if you want to see more of that, and like this video if it was good. Anyways, thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.